It's the final few seconds before the lights go out, and the race to the podium begins. You know this battle will be won off the track as well as on it. You've studied your tactics, anticipated every move like a grandmaster. You've researched and analysed, modified and fine-tuned to perfection. You have honed your instincts to give you an edge over your rivals. Your drivers focused, your team ready. The championship in the balance. First past the checkered flag, the goal. Epic victory or ultimate failure. There is only a heartbeat between them. Motorsport Manager. Take control.
Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Let's Play for the channel. This is Motorsport Manager. It's, would you be surprised to learn that it's a management game about motorsport? More precisely, single-seaters. This was originally a mobile game, and it's been ported over to the PC, but unlike most ports, this has had a lot of care and dedication put into it. It's been expanded, graphics improved, more options, more depth, and it's turned into a really, really great management game. And from what I've seen and what I've played so far, it looks like the game we've been wanting for a long time. If you're anything like me, you may have played games such as Grand Prix World and F1 Manager back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they're great representations of how to run a race team, and any F1 or motorsport fan have always dreamed of those kind of games, and now having one truly up to date in the moment, and one that seems to have had a lot of care put into it. It's great to see. So, let's get started with a career, shall we? Turn tutorials off. I played a little bit of it, so I know roughly what I'm doing. Name, date of birth. I don't know that any of these have any variables on anything. Maybe it will send me a message on my birthday. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So, backstory. You've got ex-driver. As a respected former driver, your very presence gives drivers a real morale boost, and happy drivers perform better within the race. Drive morale plus 30. Ex-engineer. With your background in engineering, you can help to trim down the time it takes to design new parts for the car, which take around 8 days on average. Part design time -1. Financial. Your financial nous will help you make the best deals on every purchase you make, -5% to payments. And political. As a political insider, your arguments carry more weight within the Global Motorsport Association, enabling you to bend the sport's rules in your favour. Voting power +4 each season. Sounds like a very Flavio Briatore-esque type backstory there. Or unknown. No experience, no contacts, just you and your knowledge of motorsport. I'm not quite sure why anyone would go for that. I think we shall ex-engineer. I think putting new parts on the car is going to be the most important thing. So an ex-engineer, that -1 day to part design times may well help us. How my character looks, not really too bothered about that. Some facial hair, some brown hair, that'll do. So there are 3 series that you can race in. For all intents and purposes, this is roughly sort of Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1. We're going to be starting at the bottom, the European Racing Series, and working our way up is the aim. It has a prize fund of 125 million, an audience of 40 million, 10 races, 10 teams. We're going to be using 1.6 litre V6s, top speed of 181, still pretty impressive. And the front and rear wings are locked down to a sort of category specific wing that everybody has to run, so we can't change the front or rear wings. So yeah, we'll go on to that European Racing Series, and we get to choose our team. So I played a bit of it, but not much to have too much confidence just yet. I don't want to be either end, I don't think. Somewhere in the middle. Right, look at that car. Octane Racing, very Lotus-esque with the the black, white and yellow. I'm going to have a 3.5 million budget. Expects to finish 6th in the championship. Medium pressure. Car performance is not too bad. Drivers very good. Headquarters, staff and budget could all do some work. So we're going to go with them. Octane Racing. So here we are then in the central hub. Our base of operations for our team. I'll have a quick look through the menus. We can see our 2 drivers there, Dreyfus and Marchetta. Dreyfus, a female driver. Great to see that being represented, despite the really massive lack of female representation in the real sport. But it's good to see. Marchetta, 31 years of age, Dreyfus, 17, an up-and-coming driver. Player tab. We can see our race management, financial and loyalty is all 10. I presume that's just the base value you start with. So we've got some mail being welcomed to the team. The driver's saying hello. Our car is looking strong at the moment and there's a chance I could win things this year, so don't let me down. Very demanding, Luigi. His name is Luigi Margetta. And Claudia Dreyfus. I think I've got a chance to win the title this year. I'm an outsider for sure, but with a great season I think we can do it. Very confident, considering we've got the 6th best car, but there you go. Welcome to the design facility. On the HQ front, our design facility is pretty decent, but there's always room for improvement. On the car front, we could definitely use some work on suspension. Okay, duly noted. Report on the drivers. Luigi Marchetta is a fairly decent driver within the European Racing Series. It's probably not worth staking a huge amount on his potential for improvement, as he's operating near to the limits of his driving ability. Strength of smoothness, but struggles with his braking. Predicts to finish 12th. And Claudia Dreyfus. Claudia is one of the stronger drivers. On top of that, she still has some potential to become even better. Claudia's best skill is her cornering, biggest flaw, focus. So, a young up-and-coming driver with more potential. Probably more valuable to the team than Luigi, but it's always good to have a safe pair of hands. Then we have a reserve driver. Here's a pretty weak driver. Targets for the 16 season. It's start of new season, so we need to clarify how well you think that the team is going to do. So he's predicted 6th. So what we choose will change how much money we get per race, but I presume if we don't meet the objective, there will be hell to pay. As it's first season, we're going to be getting used to everything. We don't want to be too ambitious. So we'll go with the chairman's prediction, which will net us 1.82 million per race. Next screen is the car then. You can see all the levels of the current parts here and how they rate with the rest of the grid. Front and rear wings, as I said. Everyone has to use the same spec as part of the rules. I believe the rules will change from season to season, so you'll have to adapt to that as you go. You can also change your car livery here. So I think I'll go with the advice of the designer that we need to improve our suspension. So the way we do this, we go design a new part, suspension, and then you choose how you want to improve it. One very weird thing I've seen, which I don't really approve of, is you'll build a new part, which is obviously better than your previous part, but you only get to put it on one car. You can design the same part again, but once you've designed one, you can then design a better part. So you're constantly going to have cars that are running different parts from each other, which as a race team just makes no sense. So it's a very strange way of doing it. In previous motorsport games, manager games, you would design a part and then that part is then available to you and you've got to build however many parts to put it on the car. But for some reason designing and building is in the same menu, which I don't understand. But we're going to I think reliability is going to be pretty important early on. So medium speed corner improvement and reliability improvement. So we build that. It's going to cost us £800,000, which seems a bit pricey for a new suspension to me, but what do I know? So that's going to be designed. It's going to take 9 days. There's 16 days till the Russian Grand Prix, which is our first outing, so plenty of time there. You can also improve your parts. Going over to here, I think we're going to, if you have a look at this, you're improving reliability. Oh, it did take ages last time I did it, but apparently not this now. Let's try and improve the performance of the engine. Those two slots there. It's going to complete 1 day after the race, which is a bit irritating, but at least it will be there for next time out. And I think we're going to improve the reliability of the gear. 124 days. You can build a new gearbox in that time. Oh well. We'll go with it for now. Next menu, you've got your HQ. This is where you build all your facilities. This has an influence over, well, many different things. You can see we start with 2 buildings, the factory and the design centre. We have nowhere near enough money to upgrade those yet. And then you've got a whole host of new buildings to build, including a theme park. We're a Formula 3 team. I don't think we can have a theme park just yet. So it's not just car development stuff. That's going to improve your revenue. Same with a road car factory. Helipad will unlock 5-star sponsors. So they all have different effects, as well as obviously the performance stuff of simulator, wind tunnel. But we're just a little Formula 3 team starting out, so we're not going to worry about any of that just yet. So here you can see the team, fairly straightforward. We've got our 2 drivers. Claudia Dreyfus, 22 months left on the contract. Marchetta, 10 months. We'll get more into depth with all this a bit later. The other thing I will point out is your driver has a relationship with their mechanic, and the longer they're together, the better that relationship gets, and you unlock little perks like this. Intermediate tyres wear more slowly, so it's good to keep your race mechanic and driver together as long as you can. Scouting is where you find your new drivers, designers and race mechanics. There's our finances. We get a big chairman payout of 1.8 million per race. A lot of that is already outgoing. Here you can also set how much you have to pay per race towards developing next year's car, and you can change that budget. We won't do now because we'll probably need most of our money for development of this year's car. So next up is the sponsors. So you get sponsors based on different things. You've got race bonus sponsors, which are dependent on position, and fixed payment sponsors, which gives you obviously a fixed payment per race. The marketability depends, changes what kind of sponsors you'll get, and that's dependent on the team marketability and your 2 drivers, how popular they are. So we've got an offer on slot 3. Second or above, I really don't think we're going to finish there. There's no penalty for not achieving it, but it's then locked in for 4 races. We might get a better offer for a lower position later on, so we'll leave that open. We have got 1 fixed payment though, 200 up front, 200 per race. Ken Blanco will accept that. There goes the money. And now you can see that sponsor is on the car. You can change how these sponsors are laid out, or the livery of the car. I think it's back in car section, but it'll cost you 500,000. So that's all the basic setup. So we're going to advance time and wait for that new suspension to be built. Obviously gearing up for the opening race in Russia. We've had a request for an interview, it seems. There's some general news stuff. Grim news for fans of Claudia Dreyfus. The 17-year-old was spotted being thrown out of a casino in the early hours of Friday morning. One shocked casino patron told us, "She's in here every night throwing big money chips around like popcorn. She just keeps losing. I spent enough time in casinos to know an addict when I see one, and Claudia fits the bill." It looks like Octane Racing boss Jamie Ellis may have a challenge on his hands convincing Dreyfus to give up her addiction. New personality trait, addictive personality. Focus, which is a weakness anyway, has gone down, and morale has gone down for the next 20 weeks. Wonderful, Claudia. We haven't even started the season, and that's happened. Great. So we can have an interview request with a Motorsport magazine. Sure, why not? Octane Racing is your new home, but it isn't the best team in the ERS. What's your plan? We'll plant down a solid foundation It's about transitioning from one of the also rounds to a top team. Luigi Marchetta is seen by the fans as your top driver. Do you agree, or would you say Claudia Dreyfus is better? They're both great. Let's not give too much favouritism just yet. In the preview I wrote you expect to finish 6th. Is this accurate? It's probably fair, let's be honest. Let's not hype it up too much when we haven't even had a race. You've been a legendary engineer in the pit lane for years now. Why, thank you. Pandering will get you everywhere. Are you expecting your background to give you any advantages in the pit wall? Greater insight into car development. Thank you. Nice little interview. I think we can affect driver morale and the chairman standing and things with that. Don't know that we did too much good now. It's probably be a good platform in which to criticise your drivers if they're doing badly. Let's try and pep them up, maybe. Some new mail. Suspension's finished. And report on the race. 30 lap race. Likely to be some rain with 40% chance. Compound, super soft and soft. Track is quite abrasive, but our car is one of the best when it comes to tyre wear. Good. All positive there. So we have a new suspension. Once the part's built, you fit the part to one car. Seems silly to me, to be fair. But there we go. I think Dreyfus should be punished for gambling addiction. We'll put it on Marchetta's car for the first race. Marchetta. There we go. And I want to design a new part again. Now this is what I mean. So say I want to put that same part on the other car. We can build it again, but we can now also build a better part. So why would you bother building it again? And then you're always going to end up with parts that with cars with different levels of parts on them. It just doesn't make sense. But if I'm doing something wrong in that sense, there is some way around it. Do let me know in the comments. It'd be good to know. But we'd be stupid if we didn't go for a better suspension than last time, so we will. So we can get plus 30 of medium speed, but it will take 3 days less with a risk level. That will reduce the reliability but increase medium speed corners. Yeah, we'll risk it. Minus 3 days, get it as quick as possible. It's going to cost us another 850,000. You have an empty component slot. So can I can build one of the base as well. Okay, we'll build that as a spare, I guess. Sure, 900,000. That's everything. Continue. We've got some more mail. They want us to build a telemetry centre. It's going to cost us 8 million to upgrade the factory needed to then build the telemetry centre. So we're not going to be able to do that just yet. Some more news. Suspension's finished. Wonderful. So we can now fit that good part onto Dreyfus's car. I think we're going to swap that round actually. We want Marchetta to have the good parts. And we have some more sponsor offers. That's still the same two. We may as well take one of them then. Home race bonus is Russia, so we'll take that. Slot number 5, they're much more realistic. 9th or above or 8th or above. I'd rather take the upfront payment just in case we don't meet the objectives. And that's everything. So 1 day till the Russia Grand Prix. Let's continue. Oh, we should be designing new parts, shouldn't we? Yes, let's improve the gearbox. Reliability sounds good. 1 million, wonderful. Okay, let's get going then for the Russian Grand Prix. Psst. Psst. Do you know who the fuck this child is?
Yes. It's yours.
That's... Is it?
I don't know. I've only just arrived in this area. I'm black.
What happened with that opium?
You'll be
I've woken up with a child.
Meant to be going to Disneyland, mate. Oh God!
What?
Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy, man. Oh, everything's coming up the plane, man!
Has it got adaptive suspension?
This ain't going up! We're going down there! I want to go to Disneyland!
My friend's...
Oh God!
He's pretty good.
Alright, let's do this.
I know dwarves are strong, I still don't really trust that they can carry that chair though.
It's the most hilarious board perhaps in the game.
It absolutely is.
Oh, huge force.
Is that... They just spawn all of them
hot.
together?
They're not even like waiting. Oh, we might actually have to reevaluate that strategy.
Yeah, I would make a line if I were you, and I'll try and be your... I'll try and be your flanking force.
Alright, here. Not good.